Back to calls on Tom Holland's documentary called Islam, which has been taken off now because of complaints. Andreas in Wembley.
Hi, how you doing, James?
Yeah, good. Andreas, tell me your thoughts.
Good. Well, my thoughts are quite interesting because we wrote a response to the paper. I'm from the Islamic Education and Research Academy, and I think we may have been responsible for basically the big action alert that got all these Muslims together and non-Muslims to basically complain, not about that they spoke about Islam because we're up for intellectual, robust and rigorous debate, but that it was academically skewed, because anyone who studies at SOAS University, University of London, concerning issues on the historicity of Islam and the origin of Islam may come to the conclusion that the views that Tom Holland has spouted upon were actually fringe views, and it would have been a little bit more helpful, I think, for the robustness of the academic debate to have other scholars there, like, for instance,
but Andreas, do you not feel ashamed of yourself that you've actually stopped this program, in that case, being seen by other people? Do you not feel that you have been perhaps a party to sort of ending people's freedom of choice?
No, of course not, because we were very clear in our press releases and our report that we want academic debate and dialogue. We want this to continue. I personally contacted Tom Holland and said, let's have an academic discussion on the issue, which he refused. And this is publicly available on Twitter and other social media. So it's contrary to that, actually. We don't want this to happen. We have regular academic debates. Channel 4 were wrong to have not the topic, but the way they expressed the program was skewed. The reason being is because if anyone does a limited study, even on the internet on this issue, they see that it's wider in scope, and actually the traditional Islamic discourse is a far more academic, robust discourse, which wasn't expounded upon. For example, you had Patricia Crone, who's a well-known demythologizer, if you like, and she basically was saying, the oral intellectual tradition in the Islamic narratives, people remember what they want to remember, but it really rejected a whole academic discourse on the Isnad system, which is a very robust historical science, which is agreed upon by many philosophers and historians that are Western. For example, you have Professor Keith Lehra, who talks about authentic testimony and says it's actually a valid source of knowledge.
Well, the thing is, even if you didn't like this program, you have got the right to maybe go to Channel 4 or another broadcast and say, we'd like to make a program slightly different to this. Everybody has an interpretation of what history is.
I agree. But I think it's a responsibility of any media outlet, whether it's Channel 4, even if it's ourselves, or if we're even doing something on YouTube, whatever the case may be. We have an epistemic duty. We have a duty to knowledge that we have to be fair and we have to be balanced. And I don't think that came across at all. Right. And our challenge is open to Tom Holland and Channel 4, but we're still waiting for a response.
If you get a response, let us know, Andreas. Thank you very much indeed. You're listening to LBC 97.3, James Wells Drive. It's 5:32.